Welcome in, everyone. I've got a brand new audio mix, a brand new show format, giving you the top 5 takeaways from every fantasy football week. Let's hop into takeaway 1 from week 3. First one, Devon Achane is a monster. He's great. He had 18 carries for 203 yards and 2 touchdowns. And 4 catches for another 30 yards and 2 more touchdowns. 4 touchdowns. He's now my Dynasty RB14. If somehow he was on redraft waivers, and I know he was in a lot of leagues, I'd spend everything. Everything. This is your opportunity. This is a rest of the year starting running back. They don't come around that often. I'm fine spending everything you have left. I always say spend the fab while you have it. It doesn't do anything later. The earlier you spend it, the more you get out of it. So that would be my recommendation. In Dynasty, you have a monster now. I mean, he's RB14, but I'm always willing to sell if I can. Any kind of running back. Running backs are not my favorite in Dynasty. I've learned this lesson 100 times. If you can get a 2024 first plus, I'd probably still take it. I really don't think Devon Achane is going to be someone who enters the Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey value ever. So I do see this as a possible selling window. Depends on what you can get. Next takeaway. We have a big problem with Jahan Dotson. We have a huge problem. He has 10 catches for 83 yards this season. Not good through 3 games. Not good. He's playing 85% plus of the snaps in every game. He's out there, but he's not delivering. He's been outproduced by Curtis Samuel. It's important to note that Terry McLaurin has had the same 16 targets as Jahan Dotson. He has also been bad. The only reason he's not here is because he's scored 1 touchdown, which is propping up his fantasy value. He's only had like 43 more yards. It's not like Terry McLaurin has been a superstar and that's buried Jahan Dotson. The whole offense has been bad. At this point, I don't know what to say, but he's someone I'm worried about. In redraft, if you have to drop him, you can. In Dynasty, you got to just hang on. It actually might be a buy low opportunity if you can get him for just a single 2024 second. But he's been terrible. And at this point, we have 3 games. I cannot start him next week. Now, speaking of Dynasty, I did tell people this before the season. I said, don't rely on Derrick Henry to be what he was. And the Dynasty value is gone. We have 51 carries for 163 yards and a touchdown. 2 of the 3 weeks, including this one, he's been outsnapped by Tyjae Spears. This one was really bad. Spears played 56% of the snaps in their losing game script against the Browns. Henry only played 38%. I'd rather have Spears in Dynasty over Henry. But Spears is not racking it up in the counting stats, in the fantasy stats, where it matters for fantasy managers. He's not delivering there. So because of that, I would use this as an opportunity to buy low on Tyjae Spears. Derrick Henry, I'm done. He's 29. At the end of the day, there's an Adrian Peterson or 2. Most of the time, it's not Adrian Peterson. Most of the time, you hit 30 and you're done. I think Derrick Henry might be on the human side. Sorry, he looks human. He hasn't looked good in any of the 3 games. I don't know what to tell you, but the Dynasty value's gone. It's too late. Now, I saw that today, I'm recording this Monday, Mike Williams has a torn ACL. He's going to miss the rest of the season. And that sucks because he was doing really well. Not as well as Keenan Allen, but Mike Williams was the number 2 wide receiver there. He was a fantasy wide receiver too. He was playing great. Quentin Johnston has done nothing at all. 5 catches for 26 yards. He hasn't played more than 30% of the snaps in any game. No one else on the Chargers roster has been good. I mean, Josh Palmer doesn't have more than 100 yards. Gerald Everett is splitting with Donald Parham, and that's going to continue. So in Dynasty, in a way, this is a blessing for Quentin Johnston. He now is going to have an opportunity to play. He's going to play as the wide receiver 3, I think, behind Keenan Allen and Josh Palmer for now. That should give him like a 60 to 65% snap share. If he does nothing, the excuse is gone. There's no excuse of, well, they had Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. They were both playing well. There was no reason to go to Quentin Johnston. If Quentin Johnston doesn't deliver, he's going to lose dynasty value very significantly. So he better put up. Otherwise, he's going to have to shut up. I will say this. In week 3, Justin Herbert threw for over 400 yards. He had 40 completions. Quentin Johnston had a 24% snap share in a game Mike Williams exited. He had 2 receptions, 10 yards, and 3 targets. For a first-round rookie, that is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. So he needs to do better. And I want to see better next week. If next week we see another 25% snap share, we have a bust on our hands. We can't have that. When injuries happen, you must step up if you have first-round draft capital. There will be no excuses. So we're going to see what he does now. Last takeaway. Sam LaPorta is a top 5 dynasty tight end. Period. He had 8 receptions for 84 yards and a touchdown on 11 targets this week. He was one of only 4 Lions to receive a target. He is a part of this offense. Amon-Ra St. Brown is their number 1 wide receiver. There is no doubt about that. Jahmyr Gibbs is their number 1 running back and a weapon in the passing game. Sam LaPorta is their second weapon in the passing game and one of their the big trio of Amon-Ra himself and Jahmyr Gibbs in their offense. That is their building block, not Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams is done. He's going to come in. He's going to play a deep threat role. He's not going to be a big part of this offense. There's no room for him. They have 3 stars. They don't need him. Sam LaPorta is a top 5 dynasty tight end. That's not going to change. Andrews, Pitts, Kelsey, and Hawk are still my top 4. And I will say that there is a universe in which Sam LaPorta is the dynasty tight end 1 after this season. Kelsey's old. Andrews is not young. He's 28. Hawk has been inconsistent in his career. And LaPorta is on pace for, a season it took Hawk 4 years to do. And Pitts, if he continues to be bad, is going to eventually fall behind him. So there's a universe in which Sam LaPorta is the tight end 1 by the end of this year. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that universe is suddenly now possible. If he keeps playing like this, he easily could be. So those are my 5 takeaways for this week. If you like the video, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It's very important. Now, I'm going to bring you a second segment 2. So the Patreon, patreon.com/fantasy advice. Now, if you sign up, you can ask questions in advance that will be read on the show. If you don't want to sign up, the only way to ask questions on the show is to show up Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern and ask it live. But if you're a patron, I will sweep your questions into this takeaway video. I'll do it at the end, and we'll have that every week. On Monday, I'm going to make this a regular thing. So here are some of the questions that I got today. One of them we already talked about. Is LaPorta an automatic play going forward? Yes. He's a top 6 tight end in redraft. I mean, yes. I had him at tight end 8 and start sit this week. So he was already an automatic play, but he's a play. We have to continue to talk about how awful the Bears are. Do we? They're so bad. I feel so bad for Justin Fields. He's been screwed over by this horrible team. I mean, yes, he hasn't done much to help himself, but I think Justin Fields would have succeeded if he'd been on San Francisco. I really do. So it sucks. And we'll have to see. I think that I would fire them all. We talked about this. Has LaPorta buy window closed? I think it has. Is a potential buy high candidate? What's buy high? Probably not. He's probably not on my list of buy high. He was someone I really was like all in on before the season. So if you didn't listen to me then, it's probably too late now. Mostert trade value for contender. I'm still not giving any second for Mostert. If I have to give up a third for Mostert, I'll do it. But I do think there's a universe in which Devon Achane is the starter the rest of the season. Jeff Wilson comes back, and Raheem Mostert was kind of a flash in the pan. He's 31. I'm not counting on him. Not giving any second for Mostert. And I'll take any second if I have Mostert. What's Keenan Allen's trade value and what are we buying him for? We didn't really talk about Keenan Allen in the QJ segment earlier. I'm probably not paying a first for Keenan Allen. He's 31, and you just know one injury to a player that old and the whole value is gone. I'm not paying any first for Keenan Allen. I'll probably pay a second if I have to. on a contender. I do think you'll be able to trust him as long as he's healthy. The rest of the season, he'll have value. As long as he's healthy, he will have value. So I'm willing to pay 2 seconds if I have to on a really strong contender. And we talked about QJ and Palmer. I'm not excited for either one. I'll probably skip the fab bidding. I'll bid, but I'll probably skip the fab bidding on the two of them. They're not high priorities. I was more in on Tank Dell as an ad last week than I am on either QJ or Palmer this week. QJ or Palmer for the rest of the season. If I have to pick one to roster, I'll lean QJ because I think that QJ has a potential that in 3 weeks, he could be a weekly wide receiver 2 or 3. If I had to pick one to start in week 4, it would be Josh Palmer. You cannot start QJ in week 4. I have to see QJ actually play before I can put him in my fantasy lineup. So Palmer to start week 4, QJ for the rest of the season. What do we do with Dalton Kincaid? I am going to talk about him on tomorrow's show. I am a little concerned about the usage. No big concerns. I'd rather have LaPorta over him in Dynasty. He's shown more, but I have no concerns with Dalton Kincaid. He's playing a starting role as a first-round rookie tight end. Stephon Diggs is the alpha in that offense. Dalton Kincaid, there will be better days. If this is a buy low opportunity, I would take it. If you can use this week to turn George Kittle into Dalton Kincaid in Dynasty, I absolutely would. Kittle has never delivered when Debo and Ayuk are playing. So I would take the 6 years. Maybe you can even get something on top of Kincaid for Kittle. That's the kind of move I would look to do. Definitely not selling Kincaid. He's a hold or a buy for me. Is a Rashee Rice breakout coming? He almost had 2 touchdowns. Yes, almost doesn't count, but he did almost have 2 touchdowns. I will say, on that offense, the only player, wide receiver, that has potential to be a fantasy asset long-term is Rashee Rice. It's either going to be Rashee Rice or nobody. Kadarius Toney, I've seen enough. I'm done with Kadarius Toney. Sky Moore, he's just playing snaps, doing wind sprints. He's not doing anything. MVS, we know what he is. So it's either going to be Rashee Rice or they're all going to fail, and yet another T. Higgins in free agency. Yet another receiver is going to come in. Rashee Rice is the only one that I think has a potential to develop into the wide receiver 1 on this team, and the only one that I think could be a wide receiver 2 and still have value behind an acquired wide receiver 1 in 2024, like T. Higgins. Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney are dead to me. But Rashee Rice breakout, not sure I'm that in on him. I like him, but not that much. If you liked this combination video, I'm going to be doing this every Monday. I'm not going to have a consistent drop time because I'm recording it and dropping it on Monday. So it'll come out Monday afternoons. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like it. Additionally, sign up for Patreon, patreon.com/fantasy advice. You can support videos like this. If you want to ask questions, the main show, Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern every week. We'll do a full recap. These are just my main quick takeaways. And I just appreciate everyone for watching. Thanks for any comments and likes and subscriptions. And until next time, I will see you all later.